I'd like to begin this meeting of Bethlehem City Council for Tuesday, February 15th. Is Reverend Cody Siddall here? Thank you for coming. Please stand for the invocation to be given by the Reverend for First Presbyterian Church of Bethlehem. Please remain standing for the pledge to the flag. Reverend.
Will you join me in prayer? Holy God, we thank you for those who have given their time and their energy so that they may serve their brothers and sisters of the community through governance. We thank you that you have set up governance and the reasons that you have set that up, so that justice might be served to those who have, but also to those who have nothing in need. We also thank you that you have set up governments to provide for the exchange of goods and services. We thank you for setting up governments to provide for the peace. Most of all, we thank you for showing us what is right, which is to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly before our God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Polinsky. Present. Mr. DiGiacinto.
Present.
Ms. Dolan. Present. Mr. Evans.
Present.
Mr. Maurer.
Present.
Mr. Reynolds.
Present.
Mr. Donches.
Present. We have citations for the following individuals that will not be in the meeting, but the citations will be forwarded to them. Mr. Barth, Ms. Dutt, Ms. Fox, Lo Glazer, Phyllis Hummel, and Charles Kranos. But we do have 3 individuals in attendance this evening for their citations, and I would first call Sandra DeLeon to the well.
She doesn't know where the well is. Is that the well?
Whereas the citizens of Bethlehem have been served by a talented and experienced staff member for 31 years, and whereas this dedicated worker who started with the city in 1979 has, during the course of her employment, provided effective and efficient service to the citizens of Bethlehem. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Bethlehem that Sandra L. DeLeon be extended the gratitude of a city which has benefited from her 31 years of service and a special contribution she has made to an efficient government operation, and be it further resolved, now that she is retired from the fire department, that Sandra can relax and enjoy life, and be it further resolved that Sandra and her husband Manuel be extended every good wish for a long and satisfying retirement, signed by the members of the City Council. Congratulations.
Mr. President.
Here you go. We have a 5-minute time limit.
Starting right now. Oh my word, this is overwhelming. I want to say thank you very much. 31 years, long time, no regrets. Started a police department as a comm center, and working with the city and working in every department here has just been an adventure, and it's been very rewarding. Had some fantastic bosses. Some bosses, we can't complain because we really did a great job together. I have 2 more minutes left, but thank you. I really do. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best, and thanks again.
Thank you very much. Mr. John Hersowski. Whereas the citizens of Bethlehem have been served by a talented and experienced staff member for 51 years, and whereas this dedicated worker who started with the city in 1960 has, during the course of his employment, provided effective and efficient service to the citizens of Bethlehem, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Bethlehem that John W. Osowski be extended the gratitude of a city which has benefited from his 51 years of service and a special contribution he has made to efficient government operations, And be it further resolved now that he is retired from the Public Works Department that John can relax and enjoy life. Be it further resolved that John be extended every good wish for a long and satisfying retirement, signed by the members of City Council. Congratulations.
Hi, thank you. I don't like to correct you, but
It's 55 years.
you got it.
We'll correct that for the record.
No, they were good years. I spent time in a few of the different departments. I was with streets for 20, parks for 9, and the rest with engineering. And I have to say that I enjoyed the whole time, believe me. There were some tough times, but we got over them. And the people I worked with, I got to give them a vote of thanks, because whenever I asked them to do something, they did it. And the city was better for it, believe me. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll have a new citation printed up with 55 years rather than 51. Rita Sparrow. For many of us who attend Block Watch meetings, Rita has a special place in our heart for her service to the community. Whereas the citizens of Bethlehem have been served by a talented and experienced individual who began his career with the Alert Partnership in 1994 as the Block Watch liaison. And whereas this dedicated worker continued as a community liaison with the city in 2000, and whereas she coordinated and attended numerous Block Watch meetings, provided much information, and prepared volumes of Block Watch meeting reports. Now therefore be it resolved that Rita Sparrow be extended the gratitude of the city that has benefited from her 17 years of service and a special contribution she has made to our police department, our citizens, and their neighborhoods. Be it further resolved now that she is retired, that Rita can relax, spend time with her family, and enjoy life. And be it further resolved that Rita is extended the best wishes for a long, healthy, and satisfying retirement, signed by the members of the City Council. Rita, congratulations.
I can't get up this much.
Has to come down for me. I just want to say that you think you've had the best years. I've had the best years being over here with all the people, all the officers, male and female, mostly male though. They kept most of the women out of my office. And all the Block Watch people, all the captains, and all the meetings that Bob and all the other, and Willie attended. And I think Gordon was mayor when I started in '94, and we had that big National Night Out in '94 over at Yasko Park. I think you were the mayor. And I remember those days, and we went from there. So I want to thank everyone, and I will enjoy my retirement as soon as the weather gets good. Thank you.
Thank you. I understand that Lowell Glazer's in attendance. Kind of come forward and we'll have this framed for you. Whereas the citizens of Bethlehem have been served by a talented and experienced staff member for 24 years, and whereas this dedicated worker who started with the city in 1987 has, during the course of his employment, provided effective and efficient service to the citizens of Bethlehem, now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Bethlehem that Lowell Bud E. Glazer be extended the gratitude of the city, which has benefited from his 24 years of service and a special contribution he has made to efficient government operations, and be it further resolved now that he is retired from the Public Works Department that Lowell can relax and enjoy life. And be it further resolved that Lowell and his wife Lois Be extended every good wish for a long and satisfied retirement, signed by the members of the City Council. Congratulations, and thank you. We'll have this frame. If you would like.
It was 23 years of fun, really. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm proud to have worked here. And I'm glad the board put up with it. After that 55 years I heard go by, 24 doesn't seem like it.
If you want to return that to the city, we'll have that framed for you and delivered.
You want to get your frame on, right?
Thank you.
Go get it back.
Congratulations. Is anyone else in attendance for a citation? We'll move into our agenda. Item 4, approval of the minutes for January 18. Any comments? Minutes stand approved. Bills 50 and 51 pertaining to the leaseback financing will not be considered this evening. I asked Cindy to notify our regulars by email and also the press that bills 50 and 51 have been withdrawn. They will not be considered this evening. We'll move to item 5, courtesy of the floor for public comment on an ordinance or resolution that will be voted on this evening by the City Council with a 5-minute time limit. Would anyone like to address City Council? Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Bill Fitzpatrick. I reside at 732 Center Street. More importantly, I'm coming to you as a member of the Zoning Hearing Board, and I'm addressing your consideration of Bill number 2 and an amendment to Zoning Ordinance Article 1325.02. First, I'd like to just start with the genesis of the consideration for this particular amendment. It was distressing to those of us on the Zoning Hearing Board to have learned of this action or this proposed action in the media rather than having had consultation. Having said that, we appreciate that we've had an opportunity to reach out and speak to a number of you individually. We do note that a vote was taken by the Planning Commission with comments published in the media, and I would like to say that we concur with their unanimous vote in opposition to this supermajority concept. What I would have to question is whether or not is the intention of council to mandate a supermajority on all commissions, boards, and authorities, or if your attention is directed only to the Zoning Hearing Board. I know we have been a point of great discussion over hearings that have occurred recently, and I do note that in a contested hearing, it's quite normal and acceptable to me that a party who does not prevail would be unhappy with the outcome. What does trouble me, however, is when the fairness and the integrity of the proceedings are challenged, and I can assure you that under the guidance of our chairman, Gus Lupus, nothing but the ultimate fairness has been the watchword at all of our proceedings. I believe it is the normal practice for all bodies, commissions, boards, etc., to set their meetings for, or their rules for conducting meetings, including quorum, voting rules, etc., and I would ask that that same privilege be reserved to the Zoning Hearing Board. Now, having said that, you have already taken action to expand the Zoning Hearing Board to 5 voting members, an action with which we unanimously concur. It's an action that was considered for a number of years under then Council President Schwader, and since that time. Having done that, I think you've gotten the job done with the 3 votes that would virtually always be cast. If I were to look at decisions made over the last 2 years, the Zoning Hearing Board has decided or rendered 91 decisions. 83 of those, or 91%, have been with a 3-vote majority, either in the affirmative or in denial. 8 with a 2-to-1 majority on either approval or denial. My question to you is, who's to say that a 2-to-1 majority vote is improper, incorrect, or in some way circumvents the ability of the appellant or the protestants, the ability to appeal a decision, to have their case continued, or any other recourse available to them? We do note that City Council even joined in one of the appeals recently. What I think the true role of council should be, and what I would encourage you to do as the expansion occurs to 5 members, is to review the competency and the commitment of the people who will be presented to you by the administration. And Mr. Mayor, first of all, I should note with great thanks your support of me for my nominations and renominations. And I would like to go on record that under no circumstances and never have we been approached by the administration, either prior to or following it, on any of our issues. But back to the point. With a 5-member voting zoning hearing board, in virtually all cases, you will receive 3 votes in either concurrence or denial. What concerns me is the cases whereby through either professional, family, or conflict of interest issues, the quorum may be reduced to as low as 3, thus rendering one person the ability to kill any particular motion. It seems fundamentally unfair that the people who sit, listen to testimony, examine exhibits, would not be entitled to render a decision whereby those not in attendance would have a vote cast in the minority. I thank you for your consideration, and I strongly urge you to defeat that bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Lupus?
Thank you, Mr. President. Before you press the button, okay, I'd like to just mention that I'm not here this evening to get anything on my resume. People on the zoning board have been accused of being on a zoning board to add to their resume. At 75, I don't think I need the zoning board on my resume, so let's take it with that, okay? You may not like it. I'm here tonight to speak against the resolution on a majority vote. As chairman of the zoning board, I ask City Council to vote against the resolution. The issue has been discussed by members of the zoning board, and all 4 members on record are being against the resolution. We feel that it would have a detrimental effect on decisions we have to make, and also to set the record straight, we have always been in favor of the 5-member board. At times we've been accused of not being in favor, but we are. Our approval was relayed to Darlene Heller months ago, and what is disheartening is that the major majority issue was never discussed with the board and comes from some outside sources. More interaction on this issue would have been appreciated. I'd like to also take this opportunity to thank all council people who attended at least one zoning board meeting, and many of you have. 5 of you have been in attendance. 1 of you has served on the board in the past, and 1 of you has attended a meeting 25 years ago as a reporter and remarked how brave the board was with the decision that they made at that time. And that information I got from the local newspaper. Let me add that 1 councilman who is no longer on council has said on occasion there is trouble with the zoning board, and we never found out what that trouble was. As board members, we are tired of being used as political footballs. We have been demeaned at city council meetings during courtesy of the floor, in the newspaper, and even at our own zoning board meetings. When the Iraqi and Afghanistan wars take a back seat to the zoning board, we're on the front pages and they're on the back, I think we've got a problem. For people to understand our role, I'd like to explain to everyone what transpires. There's no doubt in my mind that we have a difficult job. And it's not a job, it's a volunteer. Someone comes to us with an appeal referred to us by the zoning office. Mr. X wants something, and Mr. Y, his neighbor, doesn't want him to have it. Someone is going to go away angry. What people don't understand is that there are 2 ways to look at the problem. We basically use the law, the ordinances that are presented by you people on council. We use the law, the facts, we ask questions, and above all, we listen. We have listened as much as 10 to 12 hours on one particular issue. We let everyone speak their piece. Then we come to a decision. Because our system is a just one, if you disagree with the decision, you may appeal to either Lehigh or Northampton County courts. We have gone to court at least 10 times, and we have won all the cases. In fact, there are 3 cases pending now. I don't think we have been wrong or abused our powers, as has been advocated. In fact, words like kangaroo court have been used. The courts have proven us right. If we would have lost, so be it, and let's move on. The second way a decision can be adjudicated is by emotion, and this is a difficult thing. If an objector is overcome by emotion and does not want to accept the board's decision, they will continue to condemn and ridicule the decisions. We have to base our decisions on law and not emotions. Some decisions that we have made are as follows. In addition to the many mom and pop residential decisions that take in additions to homes, garages, carports, kitchens, etc., we have made many neighborhoods better places to live without having disrupted the neighborhood. Larger projects we have approved were Lowe's, the apartments in back of Lowe's, Sovereign Bank on 8th Avenue, the Brocco Middle School, Silk Mill, which had burned down, some input on the Sands, parking, the Hyatt on North Street, the Science Building at Lehigh University, and we've also been instrumental in the South Side advancement because we have worked with the Parking Authority. All of these projects have added tax revenue to the city, and tax rolls are giving the city extra revenue, which the city needs desperately. Moravian Village, Elias Market, and Dewberry are still in appeal. Last but not least, as chairman, I want to commend the men I worked with on the board. Bill, Ken, Ron, and Mickey Thompson are men of honesty, integrity, and they are hardworking people. Their concern is for the betterment of the city and its citizens. As board members, we have agreed to disagree when making decisions after a decision is made. We move on as a united board.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas.
May I have another?
No, we'll submit you. We have our rules, we have your rules.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We'll make the complete statement part of the record.
I'm part?
We'll make the complete statement part of the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Nile?
Good evening. Chuck Nile, 1966 Pinehurst Road, Lehigh County. I'd like to speak a little about your passage of final ordinance, number 9C, bill number 51, approving guaranteed lease.
Mr. Nile, Bill 51 has been withdrawn from the agenda. It's not on the agenda this evening.
Oh, is it?
No, it was removed from the agenda. It will probably be on the next meeting's agenda. Bill 50 and 51 have been withdrawn.
My mistake. Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Rodriguez now.
Hello, my name is Mickey Thompson. I serve as the solicitor for the zoning hearing board. I have served in that capacity for 11 years. I'm also a resident within the city of Bethlehem. I live at 238 West Gep Street, apartment number 307, and it's the Silk Mill building. I've had the pleasure to serve since 1999, and actually I think my first night here was the day after I was sworn in as a member of the bar. I served as assistant solicitor under then Dr. Summers, Gordon Summers, and I served with, I believe Mr. Maurer might have been a member at that time, Laurie Ghostly Hackett, Tom Jones, Rusty Sullivan, Andrew Twieger for a short time, and I have the current member of the boards, Gus Lucas, Bill Fitzpatrick, Ken Kraft, and Ron Lutz. I'm here to speak out against the ordinance to amend to have a majority vote, and I do this After looking through the cases that we've granted, the board has granted over the last 11 years, 90% of the cases that come before the zoning hearing board are simply what you consider not controversial. They're dealing with moms and dads, children who are moving out and they're trying to start their own life. And as you know, we have houses here in the city of Bethlehem that are 100, 150 years old that are still being occupied. Those houses, those apartments, those buildings that we try to preserve aren't necessarily able to be transformed like we would like in maybe a utopia. And these people who want to buy these homes, they want to come in and they want to try to occupy them. And sometimes, quite simply, they can't. Whether it's because of aging, whether it's because of covered carport that they want so that the snow and the adverse elements don't affect them. Maybe it's for handicap accessibility within the home. And sometimes those cases come before the zoning hearing board, and the zoning hearing board has to look at those facts and make a decision. So we all are aware of the controversies that come before the zoning hearing board. They get put in the press. But to have a supermajority come through and look at these cases, and maybe you have a person who, for some reason, doesn't like the particular application coming before it, to have one person have the authority or have the ability to deny the majority of the vote would simply be, I would think, abhorrent to our society. We're here for democracy. We allow a majority vote in 99% of the votes that we put forth in our society. Right now we have 3 members of the zoning hearing board. We have 1 alternate, and we have 2 members that are vacant. I know the mayor and his staff they're looking for people right now to serve in that capacity, looking for qualified people who love the city, who are community minded, and want to give back. And you know how hard this is. You have people who come here with passion, with vigor, who want things done, they want things changed. And sometimes as a council, you have to make tough decisions. Right now, when we have meetings, we get an agenda, we look at the agenda, but we never know on any given night who's going to come in as an objector or an interested party. And quite often, not quite often, but sometimes there's conflicts where somebody who may have worked or been in a family or a neighbor, somebody shows up, and that member of the board, because of propriety's sake, has to remove themselves from the dais and remove themselves from the board. In that case, under the current system, that would be preposterous, quite frankly. When an applicant comes to the zoning hearing board or comes to the city of Bethlehem and puts forth an application, the time clock starts. They have 60 days until a decision is rendered. And under the present system, we have the chance that some of these may be deemed approvals because we may not have a quorum in attendance at the zoning hearing board to hear these cases. And that simply, I don't think anybody wants that. I'm assuming that once we have 5 members, permanent members of the zoning board, we have our alternates, that these won't be issues. And I would urge the council to take a pragmatic approach. Maybe a supermajority is the best thing for the city of Bethlehem and the zoning hearing board. But I don't think it's right now. Why don't we have the 5 members, we start a tally, we have to give a report to the council every year what the votes are, what's been approved, what's been denied, and have the council then look at the situation, look at the factors, and then determine whether or not a supermajority is in the best interest of the city. I would suggest that with development being what it is today and the need for the growth of economy, that putting any more roadblocks and any more obstacles in front of people coming into the city who want to invest their money and their time to come in and develop and make the city better, I think any more obstacles would be just a horrible thing, and I think the outcome would be negative for everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
Eddie Rodriguez, 1845 Linden Street, Bethlehem. I just want to make a comment and I'll be out of here. With regards to what's happening at 128, 130 West 4th Street, I'm asking that there's a date.
Mr. Rodriguez, excuse me, is that on the agenda?
It's under resolutions. Okay?
Thank you.
All I'm asking is simply to make it more safer for people within that area because I see brand new wood piles on the street, no cones for safety, no blockage whatsoever, dirty sidewalks, nails. People are in danger when they're passing by. Thank you.
Thank you. Rupp?
Dana Grubb, 2420 Henderson Place. Just a brief remark on the zoning change. I noticed that the nominal fee that people who serve on the zoning hearing board is still $25. Maybe it's time to look at a little higher nominal fee, one that's a little less nominal. It's been $25 for many, many years. And maybe not necessarily at this point, but at some point, I think you need to